Going to address the matter of People versus Kobe James Harris. Is that you, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I have reason to believe that the defendant is in the same apartment as the complaining witness right now, and I'm extremely scared for her safety. And the fact that she's looking off to the side and he's moving around, I want some confirmation that she is safe before we continue.
All right, what are you on, a laptop or a phone?
Me?
Yes.
Phone.
All right, I want you to walk out to the front of the house, show me the house number on the house.
Why? I don't even think this phone has the charge for that, sir. I'm at like 2% right now. I'm hooked up to this wall charger right here.
Your Honor.
We're knocking at the door right now for Miss.
What?
The police are at Miss apartment right now, knocking on the door.
All right. Would you go answer the door?
Yeah, give me 1 second.
You take your phone with you so that I know you're okay.
Kobe's here.
We may need to adjourn this, Your Honor.
So it appears Mr. Harris is there at that house.
I believe so, Your Honor. We would ask that his bond be canceled.
Yeah, so we'll confirm what we're going to find here. This is a issue we didn't have when we had live court. This is the first time, to my knowledge, if he is in the same venue, that this has occurred. Kudos to the Sturgis Police Department for following up on this. Let's see if someone can log in. Officer Edgington, do you have contact with Sergeant Marsh?
I can try to give him a call.
Yeah, would you please?
Your Honor.
Yes?
Mr. Middleton?
Yes.
Mr.
Who am I
Middleton.
speaking? Yes, who am I speaking with?
Kobe.
Yes?
Your Honor, me and both don't want the no contact. I asked if that be dropped. I'm sorry I lied to you. I knew the cops were outside. I don't know why I lied to
Mr.
you.
Harris? My advice is don't say anything else. Take the cigarette out of your mouth. The hearing is adjourned. Your bond is canceled. If you have $10 million, you can't bond out. In addition, the prosecutor is probably also going to charge you with obstruction of justice. It may be a situation of you want the bond conditions lifted, you want them lifted. She does not. We're serious as a heart attack. It's the first time I ever had anybody sitting in the next room potentially intimidating a witness and assault great bodily harm. All right, don't say any more about it. Your bond is canceled. You're digging your hole. You've hit bottom and you're continuing to dig. Officers are directed to take him into custody on a bond violation. Bond is canceled. We will reschedule this hearing for another date. Michael Richards. I'd like to say thank you to people who know who they are for their generous donation to the United Way. Daniel Frazine prepared the screening report in this matter, and he's not here. I'd hope for some help from him. Also, Prosecutor Rognus is not here, or anyone else from the prosecutor's office, but Mr. George is. Mr. George, what would you like me to know here?
Thank you, Your Honor. Well, I think in Dan's report, it summarizes really well where my client's at, his feelings about the situation. There's a couple of lines in here that I'll just read straight from. It says, Mr. Richards is just glad that this turned out the way it did and no one got hurt. The officer believes that Mr. Richards can comply during a term of probation and also believes that he does not wish to have to repeat this going forward. He did tell the officer he's willing to do whatever it takes to make this right. I think that's consistent with my interactions with Mr. Richards. He didn't minimize anything. Obviously, we had to wait for the lab report to come back just to make sure that everything was in line, but he came in and admitted responsibility. I've gone over the recommendation with him. My client does have criminal history, so he knows kind of how substance abuse can kind of snowball a little bit and get out of control. And I know that that's not the life that he wants for himself. He does have a good job and has some things going for him. So I think all in all, the recommendation is right on point, and we'd ask the court to follow it. Thank you.
Mr. Richards, anything you'd like to tell me?
No, sir, that pretty much sounds it out. That's good.
Are you still at Ox Paperboard?
Yes, sir.
I looked at this earlier in the week, and then I looked at it carefully yesterday and explored a bunch of things. There's lots of negatives here. You've got lots of baggage on your criminal record, most of which does not relate to driving, although you have a fleeing and eluding from 2017. The others, and then you have another fleeing and eluding in 2017 in Kalamazoo County. The rest of it is mostly drug related. You were gone for several years while you were in prison, and so there isn't anything on your criminal history. The facts of this case remind me of someone who just doesn't give a rip. You're only 26 and you made a lot of bad decisions. On this particular day, you're with Mr. Edgington, who was on bond himself at the time this occurred. You're smoking lots of marijuana. You're drinking vodka straight. You're driving around drunk with a beat up car with a busted windshield. You go to McDonald's, you're rude to the staff at McDonald's. They call the police because you're drunk. You leave McDonald's without getting your food, and then they stop you at the gas station. The matter was reduced to impaired driving, but you're going to lose your license anyway because you didn't take the test. Called the officer a bitch, said you weren't taking his test. It's part of the I don't care. Driving around like you're invisible, drunk, high, 2 bottles of Amsterdam vodka in the car, and the guidelines call for 31 to 47 days in jail. You were on several probations which failed. And a parole, it didn't go that well either. Have you got notice from the Secretary of State that your license is suspended for not taking the test?
No, sir.
Shana, would you run a new driving record on Mr. Richards? Let's see what his status is right now, because I believe you were valid on this day. And you were so drunk, you don't even really remember everything that happened. But as Mr. George says, you've owned it. But like I said, it's somebody who just doesn't care. Yeah. I'll smoke 10 joints and drink a 5th of vodka and then drive around with my friend.
Need something? I'm sorry.
Yes, could you run a new driving record on Michael Richards?
Richard?
Yes, the one we ran was in July.
Do you have
Mike-
case number?
Michael, Sean, Dean Richards. Let me just give you this.
24-14140D.
Thank you.
He declined to take the test. So the impaired was a gift because your blood alcohol was 0.198. You were 2.5 times the legal limit. And I was hopeful Daniel would be here because the only positive thing you got going for you is that you got a job. Previous probations have not gone well. You can say whatever you like me to know.
I mean, if possible, I mean, I don't work every other weekend. If you want to give me some jail time like that, that's fine. That's okay.
Well, I
I
don't,
mean, I don't want to lose my job.
I don't
have
want
a
you to
house,
lose
I got
your
a car.
job.
I know my
Yeah,
bad, my apologies. I messed up. I
All
know I
right,
did.
so let's talk about that. What did you think was gonna happen? You're blasted, driving around, doing I don't know what.
Well, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, to be honest, I don't think I was driving around when we first got the bottle. You know, people make bad decisions when they get drunk. No, I don't think, and I know sober, I don't want to drink and drive. I don't want to be around other people that's drinking and driving. You know, when you're drunk, you just make stupid decisions.
Yes.
That day I'd made a really, really bad one.
Driving record is in here, is in there. There's your ROA.
Thank you. Well,
And I know when I was younger, yes, I had bad driving history too. At the same time, I'm not, it was a lot to do with the drugs. But at the same time, I guess it was me because.
Well, you
I
had meth is a big
Yeah,
factor in your, you left the McDonald's without getting your food. And did you think they called the cops on you or you just decided, you don't remember?
I don't know.
Okay, well, that's I guess a fair answer. Where do you think you were going?
McDonald's.
All right, but where were
I'm
you-
not trying to be smart about it.
okay,
sir.
but you went to McDonald's, but were you living in Three Rivers at that time?
Yeah, but I think I don't know why we went to White Pigeon, but we had to been probably on the way back to his house or something.
Whose car was this?
Mine
It's registered in Indiana?
and my girl's name. It's my girl's anyways, but mine. I'll pay
All
for
right,
it
she lives in
however it goes.
Indiana?
Yeah,
What's her name?
Carlene Garrison.
So was she there too, or that's just,
No, she showed up.
they turned the car over to her?
Cause when I got out, she helped me get the car, so it's in her name.
Well, the car ended up getting impounded.
Yeah.
And that's a big hassle. Let's take a look at your driving record now.
I've had one speeding ticket when I first got out.
Yeah, I'm going 85 miles an hour, which is more of I don't care. I think that was in Indiana. I don't remember.
I was on the highway.
Yeah. Trying to refresh it.
I was doing 84 and a 70.
Was it on the toll road or a country road?
Not main, one of the highways, 120, I think it
All
was.
right, that's
No,
pretty
20.
fast on 120.
Then I think it's 70 speed limit. Everybody does 80. I was just going low that.
Yeah, your license is suspended as of now. And they use the address of 120 South Washington Street, the trailer park in Constantine.
That's my brother's.
All right, well, they send,
It probably hasn't been changed over.
Well,
It should have been.
yeah, they send any Secretary of State mail to the address on your driver's license. So your license was,
They took my license once I got arrested.
yeah, they cut it half. It was valid at the time you got pulled over, I believe. Let me look. Yeah, it was valid and they gave you a 625 permit. It's now suspended because you didn't take the test. The impaired driving would allow you to keep your license. How'd you get here?
I drove. I didn't know
Yeah, you're
that.
suspended.
I didn't know it was, sir.
Well, they sent it to your brother's house. I was trying to see which date it was. This happened in July. When they ran your driving record back in July, it was valid. You're suspended. Sorry. I can't tell what date they suspended it.
So I got this paper and saying it's like a permit.
Yeah, that's the temporary license that the
Yeah,
officers gave you.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Well, that would have permitted you to drive otherwise, but the Secretary of State sent a suspension to 1200 South Washington Street sometime between then and now. I can't tell from what I'm looking at what date they suspended it. But when you refuse to take the breath test, and they have to get a search warrant to do your blood, they suspend your driver's license for 180 days at least. Let's see here. You also had a bunch of unpaid tickets that got wiped out. Implied consent refusal. They're suspended 8/19 of 24 through 8/18 of 25.
Wait, what's suspended?
So they suspended your license for a year for refusing to take the test, which is apart from anything here. Your lawyer negotiated this all the way down from high blood alcohol level to impaired driving. But you're suspended. And there ain't nothing I can do about it. My suspicion is you're gonna keep driving. Give me a second, just a moment. Put my phone in my pocket.
Awesome.
Shut it off. So despite all that, you don't seem to care. You drove to court on a suspended license because you don't even know you're suspended because you don't have a proper address with the Secretary of State. He's recommending a probation. Um, and he isn't here, so I can't ask him further about it. I'll quote what he said. Mr. Richards does not recall willingly refusing any tests or calling the officer a bitch. He was transported to the hospital for a blood test after the officer secured a warrant for a blood draw. The officer believes that Mr. Richards can comply during a term of probation and also believes he does not wish to repeat this going forward. He said he would do whatever he could do to make this right. He did 1 day in jail and then he gives 2 days in jail, and he doesn't put anything in here about a police reimbursement.
I think there is on the very end of it, Judge.
Did I miss it?
It says for 200 to White Pigeon PD.
Oh, there it is. I didn't scroll down far enough. All right. Couple factors here. I don't want you to lose your job. The jail is presently under construction, and the sheriff requested that we don't order anybody to do weekends for about 3 months. Judge Pattison wasn't very happy about that, but can still do it. He just asked we don't. But right now, there's nobody really in charge at the sheriff's department. The sheriff is gone, the undersheriff is gone, the captain is gone. So this is impaired first. You did 1 day of jail. I'm gonna order 91 days jail, credit 1, leaving 90 days to serve. And at Daniel's request, I'm gonna defer all of this. 90 days are deferred.
Yes, sir.
But if you violate this probation, or if you drive while you're on this probation, I'm just gonna give you 90 days. You can be a trustee, you can mow lawns, work in the kitchen, but this is a gift. It really justified 31 to 47 days in jail. But I'll see whether you can do this. If you do, I'll be impressed.
You will be impressed.
All right, $75 crime victims' rights fee, a $50 state minimum fee, $100 screening fee, $150 attorney fee. I'm gonna do a 12-month probation, which is $480. You can do all this in the meantime. You could get discharged in 6 months, $200 police reimbursement. And victim impact panel is $32. Let's add all that up. That's not right. $480,000.
Huh?
What is that? No, he was.
I think I miscalculated.
I had to put one of them times in there, huh?
Let's try again. $300 fine plus $125 of state costs, $100 screening fee, $150 attorney fee, $480 probation oversight fee, which could be reduced by $240, $200 police reimbursement. That's where I got sideways again, darn it. $1,387. It's doing 1 year. Don't really have any bond. Substance abuse counseling and treatment as directed, alcohol and drug testing. No alcohol, no drugs, including marijuana. Marijuana is legal for adults in Michigan to use for recreational purposes, but not while you're on probation. And no driving. You're gonna have to drive home.
Huh?
You're gonna have to drive home. Your brother's mailing address isn't a very good one. The Secretary of State sent you a notice
Yeah.
in August that you're
I'm gonna
suspended.
have someone come up there and get me, actually.
That's probably makes more sense. If you got pulled over on the way home, they'll impound your car again.
Oh, let's not do that.
Are you still driving that silver Nissan?
Yes.
Did you get the windshield fixed?
This is $1,000.
I know, but it's an invitation to get pulled over. They'll see, yeah, current windshields with all the electronic stuff in them,
Yes, yeah.
but they'll pull you over just for a cracked windshield. So if you're driving it, you're gonna get pulled over and I'm gonna give you 90 days in jail.
No, I'm not driving.
So don't. Mr. Edgington was all edgy and they had to keep putting him back in the car, and this wasn't good either. All right, you're an experiment, Mr. Richards. Prove me wrong. You can do all this, you can get discharged at the end of 6 months. If you took a test today, what would be in it?
You mean like a drug test?
Yeah,
Weed.
all right, well, like I said, marijuana is legal. But as of now,
It's not.
so we'll probably get, at least I don't think you're dabbling around with methamphetamine anymore.
Nothing.
And that's the last thing you need in your life. All right, you take that downstairs to the probation department. Mr. George isn't here, but somebody will help you down there. So are you at the Broadway Street
Yes,
address?
sir. That is my house.
All right, well, one thing you also need to do is change your address with SOS. Put that in.
And I have to go all the way downstairs.